suffering be dispelled. Is that it? Hello? No? Let all pain and suffering be dispelled. Hello there, it's very, very, very lovely to be with you here today. I've noticed that the tune, the opening tune, was juddering quite severely in my ear, and I don't know if that's because my the connection is not as tight and powerful as it could be. It looks like it is, but I don't know. So if at any point it sounds like I've gone underwater or out into space, it's possible that I might have gone underwater or out into space, but it would be good if you stick in, if Sue, maybe you put in the chat box that be the case, and I will do something, but I don't know what it is. I might have to then go onto the telephone thing instead, which would then be a slight delay, but I'll get back because I'm dexterous at these things, because it's my mission to alleviate suffering and pain, and to do that by accessing this innate joy that I have always felt in my heart. Along with the sorrow, it has to be said, the two go very much together, the yin and the yang, but the poignancy, the poignancy of life, the I don't know if I can even give it words, but that place where the joy and the sorrow meet, which is so fine, and here we are, and gosh, how beautiful we're here, and how beautiful I love you, and how sorrowful you go, and separation occurs through death, through karma, through destiny, through whatever. This is the way of nature. The galaxy forms, the galaxy gets exploded by or smashed into by another galaxy. The sun happens, and then the sun dies. The planet is here, the planet goes, the species come, the species go. It's so beautiful and it's so ugly, and that place where the two things meet, the joy and the sorrow. From that, there's this urge to share has always been in me. This is the unique essence of me. And I want to kind of inspire in this ritual everyone to access that in themselves. It's ineffable. It's impossible to really put words to it. Even calling it joy and sorrow is rather ham-fisted and crude. This is the stuff that even Keats or Wordsworth would had difficulty in enumerating. And for me, the kind of rationalization of that gift comes down to, the last time I checked anyway, was that if I could induce the whole world of humans to relax what seems to me just a few degrees more, whatever that is. No one ever seems to have questioned it, as I've said it over the years, so I guess it strikes a chord. Just relax, not 100% more, just a few degrees more, just a little bit more. And by relaxation, I mean at the profoundest level. And I don't mean collapsing on the floor in a heap relaxed. I mean the active relaxation that you see in a master boxer or extreme sports person, where everything is softened but absolutely ready for optimal action at any moment. That if we all did relax more, and I don't mean come on, chill out and all that kind of nonsense. I mean really, really deeply access the core inside of ourselves, just by quietening the noise of the drama of the self, the drama of being Stephen, the drama of being Alice, the drama of being John, and so on. But we can quieten that noise. What we feel behind the noise is the presence, the big presence. And as soon as we can feel the big presence inside, we realize instantaneously that fighting each other for the sake of greed or power or dominion is really sort of disharmonious and somehow pointless. I mean, this might be incredibly idealistic, but even the people who are so hooked on dominating others through force for the sake of greed and power, even if they're a bit more relaxed, maybe the decisions that they make, it changes it just slightly enough, but enough for communication on a global scale to become more intelligent, more sensible. I mean, there are signs of that. Ironically, even though the world, even though the world looks like it's going a little bit more insane at the moment, it's very hard to gauge these things anyway, isn't it, to measure how insane it is compared to 10 years ago or whatever. But there are signs, there are signs in diplomatic circles, and I have friends in diplomatic circles who tell me this, that conversations are getting a little bit more intelligent. There are signs of it. So anything is possible. And it's really required now because we have kind of gone past overreach, I think, according to all our scientists and greatest minds. The amount of people on the planet is not actually sustainable anymore at this level of consumption and pollution. So something has to happen quite dramatic in terms of our lifestyles. We have to change our habits quite dramatically. You know that humans, being part of nature, don't like changing habits because nature works on habituating itself into set forms. That's the way it all works. So by our very nature, we don't want to change our habits. So it's a tricky challenge ahead. And from my point of view, for this multifarious task, which might be impossible anyway, but it seems that at least if we can all learn to relax just a little bit more, at least we have a chance of communicating with each other more sensibly and intelligently, which might be what's required or it will certainly help. It won't get in the way. That's on the one side. And as I say, I'm talking in terms of mission. It's also, if it were that, the species is going to go extinct at any time, which, if you were looking at it from another planet with intelligent perspective, you'd say pretty odds on that's what was happening right now. That we do so with elegance and dignity, and that we do so awake and aware of the amazing, beautiful beings that we are. And we do so in a state of mutual love and honour. Somehow we honour each other, we honour this experiment, whatever it meant, because it's so important that if this is Titanic about to crash into the iceberg, that we do so with a very good spirit, that we do so beautifully and cheerfully. Not in denial, because to me that is just stupid. Not to be in denial, but encompassing all that is, all the pain and all the glory, all of it mixed together, and still be able to somehow move into our destiny, wherever and whatever that is, with an open mind, an open heart, and full power, and together in mutual respect and compassion. So that's my mission. Either way, whatever happens, it's not about outcomes. It's about, this is what I intend constantly to inject into the mix. So I'm going to kind of work a bit with where we're going to discern, each of us, what is the unique kind of essence that we're each bringing into the mix. And that's talking on a macrocosmic scale or a grandiose scale. And if we just take it down to just the moment-to-moment level, if I'm during my daily rounds, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to meet this person, I'm going to meet that person. Ostensibly, it would be to do my work. Ostensibly, it would be all about achieving a goal or a series of goals, as it would be for you and for anyone else. Some of these goals would be minuscule, some of them would be relatively big from my point of view, but generally it would be about goal achieving. However, if I reframe the day right from the start and keep reinforcing that as I go along with an intention, in other words, with a memory of what my mission is, so that wherever I go, my mission is to, one way or another, induce a greater state of profound relaxation and sense of well-being and awareness of the poignancy of life in everyone that I encounter. And that becomes my mission. In other words, if I shift the focus from what I'm going to get out of it to what I can offer the other and everyone in general, I notice that not only does that seem to have the effect that was desired in the other, which is the wonderful thing to behold, it also, strangely, ironically, seems to bring me greater ease in achieving my own goals. So shifting the emphasis from the egocentric to how I can serve, how I can help, what I can contribute here, in other words, focusing on my mission, seems to benefit everybody, including me, much more than if I focus on the habitual egocentric mode. And I say habitual because that seems to be the way we've been trained. It seems to be the default mode, that we focus on what am I getting out of this? How am I going to come out of this okay? How am I going to protect myself here? And it's not, don't get me wrong, please, don't think for a moment that I'm suggesting we try and become saintly for the sake of being good people, whatever that is, because that's a concept. And I find that doesn't really do anything. It's just nonsense. Yeah, it's good to aspire to being kind, of course. It's good to aspire to being helpful and being saintly, if that's what turns you on as an aspiration. But this isn't about that. This is just a very, very simple, nothing to do with morals, shift of emphasis just because it feels better. It feels better. That's as simple as that. My being, my person feels bigger, more expansive when I'm focused on my mission than when I'm focused on me. I don't know how all that sounds to you, but what I'd like to do is to invite you, as we sit here in our numbers of 200 that we've limited it to, all the way around the planet, in every single time zone imaginable, unless they have time zones at the Arctic and Antarctica, in which case I suspect we've missed those ones out, and invite everybody to have a look at themselves when they were, well, I'd like you to look at yourself when you were, say, 4 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, where you're old enough to remember now, but you're young enough to have not been conditioned by schooling and the parental thing and societal pressures and what have you too much, so that there's still that obedient, innocent child just filled with glee and wonder at life. And you, before you were hurt by other kids not accepting your love, before you were tainted by the distortions of other children who come from deprived backgrounds, perhaps not being able to accept your joy and, you know, pissing on your parade, before any of those things happened that made you close down your heart, I want you to take yourself back to that moment that you can remember, your early childhood, where you were just filled with natural, innocent obedience, the joy of life. And you were in the company of others, or potentially in the company of others, and your instinct, your entire instinct, was just to share the very essence, the kernel, and the effusion of this joy, of this obedience, of the poignancy of life with everybody. You wanted to inject this into the mix. I want you just to take yourself back there. It might not have been, I don't want to put ideas in your mind, it might not have been such an obedient feeling even. It could have been a very subtle intellectual curiosity. But at the age of 4, where it's so innocent, so pure, whatever it was, that purity of you, the unique essence of you, that nobody else in the entire universe can possibly express in the same way. I want you to take yourself back to that moment that you can remember. You do that, and I'm going to crack open a bottle of water and have a sip there. You see, that essence, that quality that I trust that you've had at least a glimpse of, or a glimmer of, that is what informs your mission. That is the currency that you're going to be using for your mission. It's to spread that. It's to inject that into the mix. There doesn't have to be any understanding or awareness of the mechanics of how this is going to occur. That's completely irrelevant. That you can leave to the awesome power of your subconscious mind. But as long as the intention is there, that this is my mission, this is my quality, this is the quality that I'm injecting into the mix, this is what I'm here for. It might seem that I'm here to manifest the house, the job, the car, the relationship, the position, the career, the this, the that, and all the rest of it, the life insurance policy, the pension, whatever it is that you think you're here to manifest on one level. Yeah, that's all true, possibly, but it's behind and deeper and beyond all of that. The real reason that you're here, this is your mission. You know, when you got on the planet, whenever that was, you got on for a ride. If you're here for 70, 80 years, you're going to be about 70 billion miles through space further along when you get off. That's how far you travel roughly in a lifetime, 70 or 80 billion miles through space. It's a huge journey, and there's got to be some reason for it. Surely it can't just be, well, maybe there isn't. But while you're on it, it seems to me that if you can be injecting your essence of your quality into the mix here, who knows, this is probably spraying space with it. It's probably spraying the cosmos with it as we pass through. And maybe that's the reason we're all here. We just don't really know. Nobody knows why we're here other than the fact that it's actually to enjoy it. And then the mission is to spread that joy far and wide. There can't be anything higher or more important than that. The reason that the creator, the Tao, whatever you want to call it, the primordial cause of everything, manifests itself as you so it can enjoy itself through you. It didn't manifest itself as you so it can suffer through you. Why would it bother doing that? It's not stupid. I mean, we may be stupid, but it isn't, surely. So it manifests itself as each of us so it can enjoy the experience of being us. And therefore it's our duty, our divine duty, to enjoy every single moment. That's the purpose. That is the ultimate purpose of being here. And it doesn't mean frivolously. It can mean pure hedonism, but the real enjoyment is where there is an absolute accommodation of the very truth of being here. They're accommodating all the ugliness and all the beauty, all the pain and all the joy, accommodating all aspects of the reality that we're perceiving and experiencing in fullness, with absolute gratitude for all of it, with absolute appreciation for all of it, and to then have the mission of spreading this appreciation to everyone around us, somehow creates an alchemical reaction whereby the presence, the primordial cause, knows itself in profusion. And that seems to be important. It seems like the foregone conclusion, of course it's important. That's why people created churches and temples and so on, to elicit that very effect. And that's why we're here right now, to elicit that very effect. For the presence, the primordial cause, to know itself in profusion through all of us. And when that happens, it seems to trigger off some kind of chain reaction of events. And the world needs that, for sure. The world needs as much healing as it can get right now. Each of us, including me, need as much healing as we can get. And I can't think of anything more important to be doing, or more of an honour to be put in this position to facilitate this, than what we're doing right now. At the end of this meditation, which is coming up very shortly, Maureen Kelly, Master Yogini of Seattle, will be conducting a brief mantric chant for healing the world, which is an unusual thing to do at these satsangs, and it will be special and a privilege that she's doing it. We're going to sort of like do a little bit of joining in, and going to ask Sue to unmute the first 10 people, along with Maureen and I, who feel that they fancy a good chant up, because I think we can go up to 10. I can't really remember, without it getting totally messy and feedback full. So we can have some kind of chant that everyone joins in with, but we'll get it going between us for everyone, which will seal the magic we're about to do. And if that all feels like a nice resonant mix for you, and you're ready to play along, this is the moment that we begin the meditation ritual magic thing officially right now. And so start off by adjusting the physical mechanics, as in getting your body to relax and be in a state of optimal comfort. Check your breathing and notice that you're probably holding the breath a little bit without realizing it. So stop doing that and let your diaphragm move freely. Let the belly swell slightly as the air comes in, let the belly contract slightly as the air goes out. And let the air come in and go out slowly and smoothly and silently. And let it feel silken. And be aware that the breathing is what's keeping you alive, and that the breath itself is an elixir of the highest value imaginable. It's what's keeping you here. Be aware that every out-breath is an opportunity to say goodbye to everything that's gone before, to bless it, to thank it, the pain as much as the pleasure. Just let it go into the past where it belongs. And every in-breath is an opportunity to welcome in a limitless raft of fresh opportunities. An opportunity of fresh, opportunities. Every in-breath brings to you a whole new raft of life and all that entails. So the breathing is flowing slowly and smoothly and deeply and silently. Now use your mind to slowly scan from the crown of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And wherever you notice that you're holding your muscles or soft tissue rigid for no reason, just give the command to that muscle or soft tissue area, relax, relax, and feel it soften at your command. And work your way all the way down your back, either side of your spine, into your buttocks, into any place in your body that you have pain or constriction, into any part of your body that you are dysmorphic about or feel ashamed of, or think should be thinner or bigger or smaller or longer or shorter. Whatever it is, let that relax. And your face, let your face relax. And your sense organs, your brain, and your vital organs, let them all relax. And your blood vessels, let them all relax. And your bones even, let your bones relax. Your joints, let your bone marrow relax. Let the relaxation spread to every part of your body, like a beautiful, soothing vapor, bringing softness everywhere. All the while the breathing is going on, And allow the weight of the head and the weight of your life story, the weight of all your thoughts, the weight of all your drama being you, to sink down below the level of your navel, so you don't have to waste energy holding it up in your head anymore. So now you, the you that you're used to, that noisy, boisterous, self-conflicted part of you, has dropped down below the level of the navel, where it actually feels quite comfortable and stops being conflicting with itself. So you feel really rooted, solid in the lower part of you. The upper part of you, meanwhile, feels really clear and free and light. To compound this wondrous feeling, imagine that some friendly being is lifting the crown of your head upwards towards the ceiling, thus lengthening your spinal column. There's a lovely feeling of length and freedom now at the back of your neck. Simultaneously, on the basis that you're actually an angel in human form and have a pair of invisible angel wings, one attached to each shoulder blade, and on the basis that someone of your size would need quite a huge wingspan to get airborne and stay there, and the wings of that span would be rather heavy. So you can feel these huge heavy angel wings attached to your shoulder blades, and as they would naturally, you can feel them pulling your shoulders down and further apart from each other. So your shoulders are dropping and broadening, dropping and broadening. Simultaneously, very subtly and slightly, raise your breastbone forwards and outwards in a gesture of rising up to all that is beautiful, both within you and around you. Allow your hips to relax and let your hip bones move further apart from each other, subtly, just so that you get a sense of having a broader base to rest on. And now, this is the big one. Because life is so compelling, so fascinating, so riveting, both in its pain and in its pleasure, it pulls you forwards in your body into the front of you to come to meet it. Whereas any great martial arts master will tell you that to win a fight, you have to sink right back inside so that you're sitting back in your body, as if you're leaning back against your back, because your back is where your strength is, physically speaking even, just physically. Your back is where all the strength is in your body, whereas your front is rather weak and vulnerable by comparison. So the idea for a martial artist in an intense situation is to drop all the way back inside and thereby occupy the strength of your body. You're then able to be in command simultaneously of what's going on in the front. Whereas when you're just in the front of you, you lose your back altogether. You've lost your strength, not only your physical strength, but you've lost the connection to your past, which lies behind you, figuratively and actually. You've lost the strength of your root, of your life story, and of the ancestors that made it possible for you to be here. So right now, sink back all the way inside. Get the feeling that you're leaning up against your shoulder blades and the front of your spine, your pelvic bones, your sacrum, and it feels really nice. It's a great relief to not have to hold yourself up in the front of your body where all that noise was. And allow your mind to slither backwards until it's leaning comfortably against the rear interior wall of your skull. You'll notice now that all the noise that's usually going on in the front of the brain associated with discussing how you're doing in life and what your options are and what you should have done and could have done and would have done and would like to do, and so on, has stopped. With your mind resting in the back of your skull, there is no noise in the front anymore. And you also notice that the heart area, which is generally a little closed down, a little tight to protect you from pain, of people mistreating you, and so on, is no longer who you are. You are no longer that constricted feeling. That's no longer your identity. Now it's just a phenomenon. There's this little bit of tightness out there in the front where your chest is. And you can give that the command to soften up now a bit more. You can visualize the two halves of your breastplate opening like a pair of sliding doors. And in this opening, revealing this beautiful radiance of rose gold light, as if you've opened up the beauty of a beautiful flower that is your heart, your love, that unique gift we were discussing earlier, that essence of you that you're injecting into the mix. And just allow yourself to luxuriate in the feeling of this love. You'll also notice that lower down from that in the solar plexus area, where all the tension accrues, where all that fighting with yourself and with reality goes on incessantly, but it is only that. That's no longer who you are. You are no longer that fight. You are no longer that conflict. You are no longer that resistance. You are something much bigger and huger and more powerful and stronger, sitting behind all of that, observing it. And you can give that the command to soften down as well, because you no longer need that adrenaline to make you feel alive. Because when you're in the back of you, you know you're alive. You're fully alive. You can't be any more alive. It's complete. So here you are in the back of you, powerful, strong, huge, universal in size, because once you're in the back of you, there's somehow no longer any bounds. You're no longer bounded by the physical dimension. You are the rest of the iceberg. The bit that shows in the front that you're used to as being you is merely the tip of the iceberg. Now you are the big one. You're the whole of it, and you can feel it. Now, here you are currently with a human host body in your journey through eternity. There's 70-odd billion miles while on the Earth, on this spaceship that we're on, is this current journey, but presumably, and it certainly feels like it, this big presence that you are has been going on forever. And it's just hitched a ride on this planet for a while, and it'll get off at some point and carry on journeying. That you've come here to offer your unique essence to the cosmos, to existence. You are this particular flavor of Tao. We don't know why. None of us know why anything. Just we know that it is. So take a moment to sit and celebrate this unique essence that you are, all the way from the back of you. And be aware that as you do so in the company of 200 people all the way around the planet who are doing it likewise. 200 big presences. It's quite a huge, powerful phenomenon. And their strength is giving you strength and vice versa. And now all of us together, if we see ourselves in a circle, like a huge committee in a circle, in a different dimension, but all the way around the planet. And in our midst, what we can see is the material plane, the earthly plane, where our tip of the iceberg bit, the local selves, the personalities, the faces, the bits that we think of as ourselves usually, operate. And we each know that we've got trials and tribulations and rewards and all the rest of it, the game of life to play down there. We all know that as far as we can tell, the game's not over yet. There's more to go. There's more fun to be had. There's more healing to be done. There's more help to be given. There's more support to be offered. There's more strength to be lent. There's more warmth to be shared. There's more love to be radiated. And of course to be received as well. But right now we're focusing on the mission. And from the hugeness of ourselves here, from the big presence of each of us, it's quite easy now to ordain that each of our missions shall grow now, exponentially. It's time for the mission to expand. The world needs it, the action needs it, we need it, everyone needs it. So sitting in the back of you now, breathing slowly with the heart open, fully anchored to the power in the belly, the mind pulled all the way back so it's at one with the universal mind. All of us sitting together like huge angels in the cosmos, surrounding the material plane. We are fortifying our individual and collective mission to inject this hugely powerful agent into the mix for the healing of everyone, for the amelioration of all conditions, and for the alleviation of suffering for everyone. Visualize the effects of this as a very powerful light mist, a mist made of light. It's somehow humid, you can taste it, you can feel it on your skin, and it has a beautiful color. It's a mix of light grass green, as I'm seeing it, flecked with violet, these two for healing and for quantum jumping or miracles, respectively, embedded in deep rose gold, gold being for manifesting, from intention to reality, and the rose being the love. Reflect also with the deep aquamarine, which is there to both cool any overheating, undo any entanglement, and to enliven the process, to add the spark to it all. And of course some brilliant white, because that purifies everything and acts as a carrier, and any other colour that occurs to you to add into the mix, of course. This mist, this light vapour, naturally radiating from all of our hearts now simultaneously, and creating a profusion of light so powerful you could actually hold it in your hands. And in your angelic state now, try it, actually hold it in your hands, and notice that in your angel hands you are actually holding balls of this light. You can use these balls of light subsequent to the ritual in the week that follows to fortify the magic. You can just visualize these balls of light in your hands at any time you feel like you need to reinforce the magic. For now though, the profusion of light that's emanating from us all collectively, from the heart center of all of us, is creating a glow around the material plane, and specifically the material plane which has earth in its center. And you can visualize the earth now quite clearly in our midst, with all 7+ billion inhabitants at this precise moment, the ones in cities, the ones in the countryside, the ones in the mountains, the ones by the coast, the ones who are on the sea in ships, the ones who are flying through the air in planes or spaceships, the ones who are working underground, the ones who are sleeping, the ones who are engaged in exciting activities, the ones who are completely bored, the ones who are at odds with themselves and others, the ones who are completely at peace, the ones who are actively engaged in spiritual undertakings, the monks, the nuns, so on, the ones who are completely wrapped up in the mundane, the ones who are lost in hedonistic pleasures, the ones who are complete aesthetes and renunciates. Every single person on the planet right now is being bathed in this effusion of light emanating from us collectively. And whether they want it or they don't want it consciously, because underneath it everybody wants it, there is a healing going on, the result of which cannot be predicted, but there is a healing going on. The medicine is the combination of all our unique essences being injected with full force into the mix. And you can imagine the effects of that would be pretty powerful. And it's not just 200 essences, it's whatever the exponential multiplication of that is. It's a lot. It's strong enough to cover everyone on the planet, to get into every cell of everyone's body, everywhere on Earth right now. All the leaders, all the followers, on any divide, any side of the divide, of the geopolitical divide, the cultural divide, the religious divide, the ideological divide, the wealth divide, all of it, absolutely all of it, every single person, no matter what role they're playing in the game of life, no matter their appearance, no matter their beliefs, no matter how tuned in they are or not, everyone at a deep level is receiving this healing right now. And it is having an effect. It's doing something at the cellular level of every individual and of the global society at large. And just breathe with that for a moment, all of us together. Just breathe with it. As we breathe, it intensifies. And be aware that there are certain pockets of human society on the planet right now that are in extra need. They're mostly around the Middle East. And try directing or creating an extra radiance of light in every area of the planet that you know needs it more. But there's no way of actually knowing where all these are. But it's obvious that certain parts like the Middle East need it really quite urgently now. But there are people suffering everywhere in various ways. So just with a general intention for everyone who really needs extra at this point, for them to receive it. This is without judgment, without moralizing, without any prejudice or opinion of any kind. This is just sending it out to everyone who is suffering, however that's manifesting. And be aware now that you, yourself, your local self, the bit that you're generally used to knowing as you, the bit that's the drama part of you, the drama of being Stephen or Janice or John, that part of you is hurting because it is painful being human. And let this effusion of healing power go to that part of you now. As if looking from a great distance, from way out of the physical body, you are seeing the physical body as if from behind and above, way back there, like an angel would be looking at you from behind. And see this light from all of us go to you, to your local self now, and smooth away all the trouble, all the pain, all the fear, all the dread, all the doubt, all the confusion, all the obfuscation, everything that blocks the true purity of who you really are. Just see it all being healed all the way down to the bone marrow. And if you could map out the events of your life as they're occurring at the moment, or as you're anticipating them to occur in the coming week, around your physical self in a big circle, let this healing light go to all the events in that circle. So everything that your local self is going to be engaged with this week, and every one, all the activities, all the situations, all the challenges, all the stuff on the ground, let all of it be healed with this light. There's no need to see what that's going to look like. Just get the feeling of the light moving in and healing all aspects of your life at this moment for this week at the cellular level. And now, very deftly, while maintaining awareness of your huge self, simultaneously be in your local self as well. Feel yourself in your human body and allow the sensation of that beautiful light to fill every cell in your body. Feel yourself receiving it. We are the privileged 200 because we know this has just happened. All the other 7 billion people on the planet won't necessarily have any cognition of this beautiful experience. We have. So this is our little reward now. Well, it's a big reward, really. Feel yourself receiving the healing light sent by those 200 angels at the cellular level throughout your body. Feel your body regularize itself, normalize itself, balance itself. Feel your body breathing a sigh of relief for the equilibrium that is being given. And feel yourself situated, perfectly poised in relation to the world around you, so that whatever is coming this week, whoever you're going to be dealing with, whatever you have to be doing, will have a beautiful, easy, positive resolution. See yourself with this open heart, with this light pouring from it, touching everyone you encounter with your unique essence, with your gift, and see this causing exponentially, progressively more and more magic, more and more healing magic in your world. And what's going to happen now, as we slowly kind of half re-enter the waking state is I'm going to ask Sue to unmute Maureen Kelly. Somehow or other, Maureen Kelly is going to have to signal Sue where she is, I guess. And then to unmute the first 12 people, 10 people who reckon that they fancy a bit of a chanter, and off we go. Maureen will lead us. Let her do the first 3. Then I'll join in. Maybe I'll do 3 with her. And if it sounds okay, then everybody else join in. And if you're not unmuted, just do it at home if you can. If you can't do it out loud, do it in your head. It will be powerful. Hey,
Steve. Hi everybody.
Okay. Hello. Shall you do 3 and then I'll do 3 and then they follow in with?
Oh, okay,
and you
sure.
When you pan it on.
Sure. Can I just give them a little bit of background about what we're going to do, just so
Please,
they're familiar? Okay. This is a chant to Don Vantari, who is the god of healing. And I have these fabulous meadows near where I live, and I go up and I chant just about every day. And recently I was doing the chant to him, and what's normally just for kind of a generic healing for self and others recently became a chant for the healing of Mother Earth. And I realized how essential it is that we come together now collectively, because she's so in need of our love and healing. And that's how this came about. So we're going to be doing that chant to Dhanvantari, and it goes like this. It's Om Shri Dhanvantari Namaha. I'll say that again, Om Shri Dhanvantari Namaha. And if we could, as we're doing it, just really bring your awareness again right back into your heart space, and picture Mother Earth, picture the waters, the rivers, the oceans, the streams, just pristine and clear. Picture the air, fresh, and blue skies. Picture the earth fertile and rich with nutrients, and the soil just filled with nutrients and fertile. And picture everyone, despite man-made borders, loving one another and living in peace and harmony. And if we could hold that vision inside our hearts as we do the chant. So I'll begin, and we're going to be doing it 108 times, and I'll do the counting, so don't worry about that. And the last repetition, I'll slow it down so that you know that we're on the last one. And then if we could just come into a collective Om, and then let it go into silence, and we'll just let the magic of the sound do its healing for Mother Earth. So I'll go ahead and begin. Om Shri Dhanvantare Namaha. 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 Om Shri Ramatare 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 Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Om 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 Shri Ramatare Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Om 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 Shri Ramatare Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Om Shri Ramatare Namaha. Shri Ramatare Namaha. Om 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 Shri Ramatare Namaha.
Baby. That was nice. Thank you, Maureen.
Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you. May it all heal, may it all heal, may it all heal. Okay, so this is question and answer time. If you've got any questions about your mission, I think it's time to unmute everybody. If you've got any questions about your mission or anything pertinent to what we're doing, this is the moment. Raise your hand if you want to do it audio style, or type it into the box if you want to do it text style.
Jane put a comment in the question box when you were talking about taking yourself back to being the 4-year-old child, I thought you might want to comment on this, Stephen, because she says, no such time. My first 3-year-old memory was the Kennedy assassination. The next memory was the 1964 Johnson atomic bomb commercial.
Mm. You know, I knew when I was saying that somebody in the group was thinking, I never had one of those memories. But Jane, I think that that's selective recall, and there would have been a memory. It's just that you might have to ask your subconscious to reveal it to you, and over the next few days it probably will. There will always have been a moment of pure joy for everybody. So the things that are stuck in your mind are those particular traumatic moments, but everybody has the opposite as well. Everybody does. It's just a matter of asking your subconscious to reveal to you the memory of that moment of pure joy, because that's where the essence is of you. So that's important to access for your own healing as well. It's important that. So just ask your subconscious to reveal it to you.
It's from Marina. And Marina says, any tips on how to facilitate others to be in a place of clarity and creation of their mission, and how to do it daily for ourselves?
I would say, Marina, hello, I would say that for doing it daily for ourselves, it would be, I think it would be that process. It would be to get yourself into a state of relaxation, as we were doing before. Drop into the back of you. Ask your mind to reveal the memory that would work best for you, of you as a child, unfettered by conditioning, where you did have your obedience complete, and to grab that essence without naming it, or if you want to name it, you could give it a silly name. You could call it John or Roger or whatever you like, and bring that essence through with you in your heart, and just say to yourself that this is my intention to share the essence of me, this joyful, unique quality with everybody that I encounter today. And how you would inspire others to do similar, well, I suppose you could share that technique with them, but the way I do it is to look for the quality in others that I'm around and to acknowledge it in them. So when I see somebody, and it could be anyone, somebody I don't know, somebody working in a shop or whatever. It's to notice the quality that I see in them, which could be honour, nobility, clarity, gorgeousness, whatever it is. And just say to them, right, you've got a lot of blah, 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 whatever it is that I'm seeing, and just acknowledge it out loud. That seems to be enough usually to trigger people off. So if you can point out to somebody that they have a certain kind of quality, and you can do it with enough confidence to bypass their low self-esteem and the resistance that comes with that, they'll feel it, and that will make them feel, well, think about it. If somebody said to you, Marina, wow, you've got an amazingly generous heart, which I'm saying because you just asked this question, which is a generous question. You've got an amazingly generous heart. If they could bypass any resistance in you to receiving that, you would be walking around going, wow, I've got a generous heart. How lovely. I'm going to use this generous heart. You see how it works. So acknowledging, I'd say, would be the way, really.
Just a couple of little shouts out for Maureen, really. Juliet, whilst typing, Frankie was saying thank you for the chanting. Thank you, Maureen. That was beautiful. I feel. And Maz said, hi Stephen, I found that meditation really powerful. I feel totally wiped out now. Loved all the healing chants. Hope it helps everywhere.
Thanks, Maz. Well, I hope you get your energy restored.
Alrighty. So Penny's question is, how does your mission differ from your career or profession? Does your mission change if your profession changes?
Penny, that's a really good question. That's something I could have said earlier. It actually seems to have nothing to do with how you spend your time in a temporal sense. So you could be working in a bank, you could be working in the police force, you could be a politician, you could be, give me any other example of something that seems utterly unspiritual. It makes no difference whatsoever. If your mission is to share the unique essence of you, you will inject that wherever you are. And it really, really makes no difference how you actually spend your time, assuming it's not actually actively hurting people. It doesn't matter. And so whatever your actual career is, that's the bit that goes with the surface aspects of you. The career is something that would go with the tip of the iceberg aspect of you, that is not actually much to do necessarily with the essence of you. So it doesn't matter. The fact is that my job is being a barefoot doctor, so I do this stuff for a living. It wouldn't really matter if I was doing something totally different. As long as my intention was the same, it would reach the people nonetheless. So I say, great question, and it really doesn't make any difference what you do, as long as you inform it with the mission.
Maureen is saying to everybody, thanks for chanting along.
Yeah, no, thank you for leading it.
We have a question from Tammy, and then we have one more question, and then I think we're through all we have in terms of questions. So Tammy's question is, how on earth do you find out what your mission is if you don't have a clue and you don't have any great passion to follow?
Tammy, do you know, R.D. Lang, my teacher, went to some conference in Chicago, and he told him how to do something, and then at the end of it somebody asked, how do you do that thing? And he said, haven't you listened to a fucking word I said? But basically, how you find your mission is, like we said, you go in and ask yourself, what is the unique essence of you? What is the you in your joyfulness? What is you in your purity without any conditioning? What's that thing in your heart, that jewel that is Tammy, beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the personality layers? What is that real unique essence of you? Because your mission, excuse me, your mission is to spread that essence, to inject that essence into the mix. And I called it joy, I called it all sorts of things. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's just that is you. It's the bit that's you that nothing else or no one else could possibly express. And your mission is to spread that.
Okay, well, Tammy's question was pre-submitted, so...
No, I know. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that. Yeah.
And she does also say she has an inkling that her mission is something to do with championing the underdog. Compassion, maybe.
Sure.
Okay.
I think my mission is to inspire everybody to just live it as big as you possibly can, really. To be as amazing as you can be, to inspire the greatest in human quality in everybody.
Okay, so this is a quick question from Sieglinde, and then a last question from Elizabeth. And Sieglinde said, could you by any chance mention your favourite book from R.D. Lang again?
Yeah, hi Sieglinde. It's The Politics of Experience and The Bird of Paradise, but it's called The Politics of Experience. And I would warn you that it does require each paragraph to be read and reread about 8 times before the very highly complex sentence structures make sense. But it's well worth every moment of concentration, in my opinion.
And just a quick comment from Donna Marie before that last question. And Donna Marie says, this was such a beautiful guided meditation. I could feel the balls of light in my hand with such weight and depth and infusion of light. Simply wonderful. Thank you, BD.
Well, thank you, Donna Marie. That's really, really lovely of you to say. And blow a kiss to Montreal from me.
And here's Elizabeth's question. She says, I feel like the spice in the soup. My mission is to make tastier whatever I happen to be in, but no direction or goal. Any idea?
Elizabeth, does there have to be a direction or goal? I think that if a direction is needed, it will be presented you. So if you see, I suspect, knowing you as I do, that you already set your direction and you're moving towards it. If a change of direction is required, I think all you have to do is ask your subconscious to reveal to you what that might be, and it will do. The mission doesn't really require a goal. It just requires an intention, because it doesn't matter how focused we are on goals. The fact is we're hurtling through space at nearly 100 or over 100,000 kilometers an hour. So anything less than that seems a bit kind of, I don't know, irrelevant, really. So yeah, don't worry about goals. Just stay with the intention is really the key. Now next week, it's going to be about magicking your energy, your vitality, your strength, your power as a person. so that you've got what it takes to keep going for the duration. This will be a really falsifying session, and I believe quite important. Do come if you can, and bring whoever you want, if they can get there in time. It's been an utter pleasure and privilege to host you. Thank you, Maureen Kelly, for the charm, which I have a feeling will be very powerful. I think this whole session probably be very powerful. I wish everybody here and everybody that you know and love amazing results from this. Don't be perturbed if it seems to throw you into turbulence at first, these sessions. They certainly do me. The settling eventually brings the rewards, the results that we probably are looking for. But again, it's not about results, is it? It's about loving every single moment, and then we've got your result already. So thank you for being here. Come next week, and I love you. And that's it. Ta-ta.
They're all pain, suffering, be dispelled. They're all pain, suffering, be dispelled.